going on, everybody? It's Amma Jamma here. Welcome to Live Trading Tuesday with me, myself, and I. Let's get a screen pulled up while we give it a couple minutes for people to pop on in here. There we go. Nah, I don't like a big one. There we go. Let me pop my glasses on. We're going to give it a couple minutes for some people to pop in here, and we'll get going. We had CPI data this morning. Came in a little bit hot. Not a huge reaction coming into not as big of a reaction as we've had historically over the last few months, to be honest. Let's pop up the SPY and we'll look at that. AMST still ripping. This is one we bought at 38 cents in the Discord, already up 100% there. We are day trading even in there. Don't you worry about that. 1.5 red. We had a little pop up, tried to maintain, couldn't. So that's what I'm watching right now. Obviously, levels don't matter too much right now with CPI coming out this morning. It's one of those days where you could really go either way as soon as the market opens. So it's something we have to be aware of. I'm going to give it just one more minute to get some people in here and we'll get going. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ray. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you for everything. While we do that, while we wait for some people to pop in, let's start with the top runners before we do the SPY and what I'm thinking about CPU, this and that. We'll wait till about 5 minutes before market open to do that part. So let's start with our top runners first, which I know isn't the most popular thing, but that's okay. I'll move my mic over, slide on over here. All right, let's get this going. All right, AMST has just been ripping. This is one reality. If we pop on the 5 minute here, really the only two areas we've got to really base anything off of at this point is this area here where we hit our head a couple times before our secondary push up. You can see pretty clearly here how, and this stock is a fantastic example of just because you missed the first pop doesn't mean it's too late. We had this on our watch list this morning, as well as a couple other things. But as you could see here, we had that pullback, and then we hit our head on the 5 a couple times. Let's put it on the minute chart. As you could see, you can clearly identify these levels because right in here it was, you could even lower it. You can make an argument for lowering it down to this area here. And you could see how it was major resistance. And then we came back to that area. We had a couple candles wake up when we were finally able to break over it with a little bit of volume. Ooh, we had a nice little pop from, 60 cents, 74 cents, 16 cents on 60 cents, 25% in 4 minutes, guys. Come on now. I get it. Options are what's hot. I made a video not too long ago about how, and this might not really be applicable at this point specifically, but up till a couple months ago when we were really dragging the mud with all of these options, go compare historical options data from 2019, 2020, and then the end of 2022. Options were juiced, guys. And what does that mean? That means on these stocks like Tesla or anything that's been beaten up, PayPal, any of the big ones, any of the ones you like to buy and get those leaps on this and that, the return, the risk reward didn't make sense the way it used to. Options have been juiced up as they get more popular for the retail investor. That's just the reality of it. If you look at options contracts, how they've changed, how the Greeks have changed, and everything else, even open interest, your volatility, all that. If you compare late 2020, early 2019 into 2020 versus now, with the setups we were at on the charts, I was telling people quite often, you're just as good off buying the shares and reducing the risk. The risk reward didn't make sense because the risk was so sky high because options were getting wrecked even with very slight pullbacks. So if you're playing with any sort of risk tolerance, stop loss, people are getting stop loss left and right because of the way the IV is just juiced on long-term contracts. It's just different than it used to be. Anyway, we're not teaching, we're making money here. So let's pop on over to the charts. It's something I'll go more in depth about Thursday in our live stream in the Discord, guys. All right. I'll go way more in depth on the research I've done about that because I've got some other things I want to talk to too about inflation in general. Anyone that follows the chat, stock chat over the weekend, I kind of went all out with what I'm looking at as far as for the next year to year and a half, and what companies I really think fall off and which ones I think soar. And it's going to be quite opposite of what a lot of you guys expect in deflationary like markets versus inflationary markets. It's a little different. It's a little unorthodox. So watch that. All right. So 20.274, 275 I like for this. We want to go past our first wick high of this wedge right here. This is probably a low float, this Ruby, just by the candles. Oh, it's not. Okay. It's not a low float. But honestly, for this one, we want to see over 0.274 for your entry there, easy. And with an entry like that, we would stop loss it at this low here. So this is really the areas I'm looking at for this particular ticker, AMST. I want to see some pullback. I'd prefer to see a pullback to that golden fibs, of course. That's the dream, right? We want to see 150% runner that pulls back to that fibs and bounces. That's our dream. We don't always get the dream though. All right. So we're going to put our box here. We know our no touch zones. We know all our stuff. We'll go over it again. But what is interesting about this is, and it proves my point, to be honest. So let's get rid of this golden fibs and pop on a new one and go just this first push we had to the wick high here. So obviously the second chance trade, if you go according to my rules, you're not taking the trade in here. Even though we had a couple wicks kind of test that 50, which isn't real at the 7 o'clock. I don't count those. You never get fills. Let's be real. We don't get fills on these wicks as the retail investor. We know that. So we didn't pull back to my entry that I like, but we were in for 38 cents. So we're okay on that one. Anyway, so for this one, obviously we've got a little wedge going on right here. So what do we want to watch? We want to watch for that impulse move out of that wedge. We've got our wedge here, and let's watch for that impulse move out of it. Point blank. So it's such a tight range, and it's such a tight consolidated zone we're trading in. It looks a lot tighter than it is because it's 150% runner. I would want to see it break over that wick high. Preferably, I'd like to see come back touch this area here and then a push up. Those are two areas I'm watching. We don't have much exciting stuff on the pre-market checklist. Say Palantir is another one, giving up a lot with CPI coming out, this and that. But I think Palantir is one that could break away from the pack and get that secondary run. Company I absolutely love. We're in the equities. We didn't do options. Love this company overall and their profitability. They officially have profitability. Very big. They beat on their earnings. And we know Palantir back in 2021 behaved like those meme stocks. It didn't deserve as high as the price went. I think Palantir went up to like what, 54? 45. Okay, it went up to 45. So it didn't perform, it didn't deserve 45 then, but it definitely deserves a little bit more than 863, let's be real. So this line here, the sell-off line, that's what we're watching for this. And I wouldn't necessarily take an equities entry on this one. I would be more looking for a nice little option play. First few minutes, your IV is going to be kind of rough. Wait a few minutes. To be ready for that AMST. So on the pullback, we're already getting that impulsive break right now. If you took that trade, you're already up 5% just on that 76 cents there from our impulsive break. And we might not even get a chance, but ideally we want our pullback to this zone here. We want to see the pullback at least to 0.627. 628. So say 0.628. That's where we're looking for the pullback. Or if we pull back further than that, if we do something like this, if we pull back and we lose that 0.62 and we come back somewhere in here, take the entry again over that 0.628. Or the bounce off our golden fibs. So we've got really kind of three scenarios here. Our first scenario is going to be we pull back to this area just past it, and then we take our entry as we bounce out of it. If we pull back deeper than that into our fibs area, I like the entry as soon as we break over the 51 cents. That's our golden fibs area. Quite a pullback from where we're at now. I do think AMST has potential to really rip today. We'll see what happens. Float's decent. Nothing amazing, 20 mil. So that's what we're looking at on this one. And then Ruby is just kind of trading sideways here. Want to see it break over that area as well. Let's pop up a couple of yesterday's top runners and see what they're doing this morning. just to check. So we've got VLON, which has a bunch of lines from last time we traded it. This has been trading off and on for a few days here. So it's definitely one we're watching. We want to see a break out of this line here. We had one impulsive break. We came back right back in. So, we want to at least break the VWAP. I would say that's a good entry for this one, is breaking at least that VWAP with some nice volume. Let me check yesterday's volume at first 15 minutes. Because that'll tell us a lot for today. All right. So our first volume was 25 mil. I want to see at least 2/3 of that. I want to see at least 15 mil our first 15 minutes, which would mean I want to see 5 to 10 million our first 5 minutes. That's kind of what we're looking for and what we need to see for that continuation. And when we do zoom out on this 15-minute as well, we can see this as well. This is kind of what we're watching. Oh, actually, it's more like this. We're in the middle of the retest right now. So you pop a line on here, and it looks like we're coming back to retest. You guys know any trend line, 80% of the time is going to come back and retest. So we're watching for that retest bounce, which is right where our red line is. So let's watch those areas right there on VLON with that volume we're talking about. Wish is not one I'm really overly excited about. Could get a secondary pop, above 94 cents or so. Can you believe Wish is under $1? Redonkulous, I'll tell you what. So I would say Wish over, over 99 cents for Wish. I wouldn't touch it anywhere in that 95 to 98 area. I don't like that area. I want to see it close to that, that 98 to $1. That's what we're looking at for that. Now that we've got a little bit more people in there, let's pull up this SPY and see what we got going on with the SPY. All right, we're down 1/3 of a point pre-market. We are selling off a little bit, unfortunately. That doesn't mean much, though. We have seen every damn movement we can on these stocks. I mean, after CPI, we've seen the rip, then the dip. We've seen the dip, then the rip. We've seen everything in between. So really, what can we do? We can play the chart at hand. We could look at some levels, know what we're working with. As always, we're going to delete everything on this chart, and we're going to start fresh so we can see clearly. This is our very, very first line we're looking at right here. It was that high day from yesterday, as well as someone who really struggled to break out over pre-market. I'm sorry, after hours yesterday. We've got this wick low right here. All right. So what are we watching for, Amy? We're watching for this wick low impulsive move, the loss of 411, almost to the dot. 411, loss of 411. We talked about this yesterday. We actually scalped to 411 yesterday. Power hour right in the Discord. A few of you were scalping with Frank and, kicking ass. A few of you guys were scalping with us. So if we lose 411, and come back and retest it first. I want to see the retest, guys, because we know how the SPY performs. We could get a massive candle dump, but it'll be an exhaustion candle, and we've got to be ready for it to come back up and retest and get our entry there. That's where a lot of people stop out, especially playing around with those zero DTEs. They can be poison, man. So what we want to see is we want to see that rip and then the retest. So if we immediately lose trend at market open, all right. So what I'm talking about is we immediately lose that 411 and we're down, say 410. If we lose 410.50, I don't even think you need to wait for the retest. But say we come down to like the 410.64. We want to see a couple candles come back and retest without breaking back over 411.20. So we want to see the dump and come back below 411.25, and then we're taking our entry on that second sell-off. That's where we want to take that entry on that one. In general. So what do we got to market? We got 1 minute till market open. So we are going to pop on for the first couple minutes. Let's pop on those top runners from pre-market, and we will go from there. Let me pop this to pre-market, AMST. All right, so AMST is already ripping that place. We're already up over our 73 cents, so we're testing at 76. We need to break that 76 pretty quickly, first minute to 2 minutes, and we could honestly end up with a halt up, break 80 cents. So we got that high a day. That's the impulse we're looking for, and that's exactly what we're looking for here, guys. We hit 78 cents already from 73 cent entry. That's 68%. I mean, what more can you look for? You need to have those hotkeys ready, get those trades ins and out. That's just what's serious. Which contract for what, Rami? I'm not sure what you're referring to on which contract. All right, so we lost this area here that we're looking at with our wedge. If we can break back over that area, I'm not really touching that. Not thrilled with the movement of the candles. Anything else on that one? I do want to check yesterday's VLON. Okay, so this would be our bounce zone for VLON. If we come back to the upside, I'd like it over 85 cents. Which is not looking like it wants to have that jump at all. Wish same thing. It's really with CPI, it makes it a lot different, guys. It's a lot different how these stocks behave coming out of CPI data. So let's just watch this one since it's the top runner. We'll pop on AMST and Ruby. Those are really the two main ones that I'm looking at right now. And we'll go from there because we do have this one popping back up, which is what we're looking to see. I wouldn't really touch it below like 26.264. Like we're actually right where we are now. I didn't expect that kind of candle, 5% candle, but that break back over our red line here, bounce zone, that's what we're looking for. It's a pretty massive candle here. It's an exhaustion candle though, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a red candle immediate follow it. If we get another green candle, it very well could test 28.75 cents, something like that. So, and that looks like what we're doing here. So those two candles right away, immediately, to over 10% there. And there's our 28.75 cents. If this candle was going to be green, it was going to be massively green. That's kind of what we expected on that bad boy here. So obviously, if you got that entry, even a market order with this kind of volume works well. If you got that entry that we were looking at, you're up good 10% plus right now, up to 12%. Even if you chased in as that candle started popping and ended up at like 27-cent entry, just really, really nice entries here. There's 10% 1 minute candle. If we continue to keep pushing here, we're going to get a halt. So we're very, very close to halting on this candle here. Let's do this. 13% candle. Look at this candle with 16%. It's so fun, guys. I am shocked it's not halted. I'm truly shocked that did not halt, to be honest. What was the volume on that bad boy? 1.1 million in a minute. So obviously we're watching for that 5 million volume. The first 3 minutes, we got it. Or the first 5 minutes, we're almost there already in 2.5 minutes. So very, very nice here. Let's watch, see what comes. So let's do a little test here. So let's look at our little impulse move, even though it's only 3 candles. So we're at 276. 0.276 is our fibs bounce. Let's see if that's where we bounce. 0.276. Which is right almost exactly where we're at and bouncing. See what happens over the next few seconds here. That was insane. That was 20% on the board there in 2.5 minutes. I mean, those are the kind of trades you take that and you make 20%. Stop for the day. Go get a Starbucks, chart some stuff for swings, and be good with that. I mean, I think a lot of times we overtrade, partly because you get that bug. And like for me, I'm human, man. I make a nice trade. I have to like take a breath, take a step back, and not overtrade the next trade. We can become overconfident. This is going to fly. This is going to hit 33 cents. It should. This candle should break that high a day easily. There it goes. There's 30. Come on, show us 33. Don't make a liar out of me. Yeah, I think this one breaks 33. We've got that nice nice flicker, and I'm looking at the order book here. Nothing. We got this 42K at 30 cents. Nothing overly nerve-wracking for me right now. We've got them on both sides stacked up. We got the 36K, and then the 40K at 30 cents. So we've got them on both sides. There's our 33.5 cents. Look at that baby. 35% in what, 3.5, 4 minutes. If you took that trade, cash out and enjoy the rest of your day. I mean, truly, I can't. Oh my gosh. That just popped up to 37. Is that a glitch or did it actually pop? I didn't even see any orders filled in. Let's check this order book. I definitely did not see any 37s in there. Wow, that was quite a pop right there. If anyone got filled above 35 cents, congratulations, because I definitely did not. So I mean, from our entry, even at that 26.4 up to 37 cents, that's 35% right there. Insane. You know, I obviously did not get a fill at 35 cents. Let's pop on this one. Look, okay, so we're bouncing off exactly. We want to see the bounce right here. I like the entry above 0.687, I think is what I had said. I want to see us break above this candle wick high here of 686. So let's say 687. You could set your buy for. I want to make sure we break that wick high before we take the trade. Let's pop on our options. I'm pretty sure everything's selling off. Yeah, okay. All right. So this is our retest we're talking about, guys. You see that? We had our 2 candle exhaustion. All right. So for our puts, we're going to go 1 out of the money, obviously. So we're looking at the 410 at 205 for our puts. I will tell you when I'm in the trade. I'm pulling it up, getting ready now. It might be a little bit more expensive by the time I take it. I'd love to see us come up and test 411.12 first. And then if we get that hard rejection, this is exactly what we talked about, guys. We want to see that pull down of a couple candles, super impulsive. All right. And then we wanted to see the immediate come back and retest, because that area here, this is working out picture perfect, whether it's puts or calls. We don't know yet. All right. But whether it's puts or calls is exactly what we're looking for right here. That impulse move down and then the push back up. All right. So we've got the 410 put. It's at $1.80 right now. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this one. Actually, it's at $1.78. I will let you know when I buy. And I'm in. 410 put, $1.78. We're scalping here, though, guys. This is super sketchy. First options here. I am immediately selling this if we lose our wick high candle of 411.38, because we could come right back up. If we lose that high a day candle, that wick high from pre-market, I'm out. 411.38, and I'll take the loss there. I have no shame in that. So that's just the reality of it. We lose the VWAP. I'm selling half my contracts already. All right, I'm selling half my contracts, 5 out of 10 right here. Yeah, and if anyone's not comfortable buying and selling 0DT SPY contracts, I strongly suggest not doing so, because we're taking 5 to 10% sometimes, and we're moving one candle can move 20 to 30% and absolutely wreck your account. We're day trading right here. Day trading options, the first 30 minutes of market open is absolutely the most insane, highest risk you can do of anything. That's just the reality of it. You have to be careful. I'm leaning bearish on the day, of course. So we took that SPY. It's up about 10% right now from entry. I already locked in profits at 4% on a few of my contracts. We could wedge up, and we could have theta burn. We could sit super consolidated, but I do expect the impulse candle here in the next minute or so. We are wedging up. We need to get that impulse. And if we get the impulse candle up, we're going to come back and retest. Don't overly react to an impulse candle up to, say, the 410.90 area. And if we get the impulse candle down, we could retest on the uptrend, be ready to sell some of those contracts and get out of it. All right. So obviously your safer entries at the low a day and a little below low a day. For a second put entry, if you didn't take these, of course, look for, say, 409.25. All right. That's what we're looking for here. So here's our impulse candle. If we get a second green candle here, you guys know my exit strategy already. Have it ready to go, that exit strategy. But we also know when something consolidates like that, we're going to get that impulse up, and then we could pull back. So nice. That's nice. See, that's what happens when you're ready to buy and sell and get in and out of these trades quickly. So stinking critical. So we expected this impulse candle up. We've got our stop loss. If you're not in SPY puts, wait until we test this wick low. We're in indecision. We are up trading after a couple candles sell off, consolidation. We do have higher highs on the 5. However, we're sitting right at break even on these SPY puts. If it makes you nervous to play in that type of way, get out. Wait for better entry. Wait till later in the day. Like truly, truly. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. So with selling 5 to 10 contracts at 5%, my other 5, you can be very, very you can it opens it up some. I could still break even at a 35% red. So that's kind of what we're at with that right there. That's what we're looking at. I'm sorry, 25%, because each contract has that 5%. So we don't want to see this wick candle. If we see this wick candle up here, I think I won't even wait till this bar. I don't want to overreact, guys. Here's the thing: I don't want to overreact, because everybody knows any bear flag. This is what the bear flag does right here. You have your sell off, your little bit of uptrend, and your sell off. But this one's hitting pretty hard here. So obviously, if this candle breaks above this line and holds, I'm out. That's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm not going to hold it too deep red here. We're going to wait and see what this next candle does, and I'll be out if we get the impulse push up. I'm still leaning towards we get the sell off here, but we could reposition. It's not a big deal. I still am leaning towards the sell off being where we go. That this is our little leg up before our next leg down. We probably could have waited a little longer. It's okay. You know, this is what we're doing. We're trading, guys. It's high risk, so wait and see what these candles do. Coinbase is actually popping back up. We had some swings on that. Palantir's up about 11% here. I'm not touching any other trades. While that's one thing, when we're live trading together, I'm not going to put a second option trade out while we're in a red first trade. We've got to watch our red trades. We don't want to be in 2 trades where one's red and they could both end up starting to go red. And that's when you start to like kind of twist a little bit, and it's not great. So we're going to wait here, see what happens, because this was our retest zone we actually expected. I did probably jump in a little quicker than we should have, but that's okay. We are all human. But I do expect this little bit of it. I do expect the sell-off. I can't lie. And you can even come back and soundbite this a little later today. It could take a while. We could rip up to, 411.29, but I honestly do expect a little bit of a sell-off here. All right. Coinbase is popping back up. Let me check a couple of these top runners. All right. So AMST pulled back and now did break up over our. So we were looking for the pullback to this area here. It actually bounced there. Perfect. I can't remember personally what I said for the entry. I believe I did 0.654. So if you're in at that 0.654, you're up about 5 to 8% right now. I know we gave 2 different scenarios. We gave the bounce here, which it bounced perfect. If you took that 62-cent entry, you're already up over 12%. But even that 657, we are now up, over 10% right now. So that's exactly what we're looking for. We expect a little bit of those pullbacks before the push. Ruby came all the way back down, all the way. That was amazing. It was like 30 to 40% move before that push back down. And then now if we could get AMSC up over 74 cents in the next couple minutes or so, I think we could get a strong secondary push. I'm popping up the SPY, see what's going on here. All right, so yeah, time to sell. That's okay. We'll retake position on this. And you can't be in love with your plays, guys. Here's the reality. We might turn bullish as shit here. So we've got our zone right here. This is kind of the zone I'm watching. We could dump on this candle. I'm not holding it though. I will reposition if we get back below, say 410. I'm just not willing to hold that red. That's all there is to it. That doesn't work for my trading plan. And it's okay. You got to do what works for you guys. That's the reality of it. And I'm gonna have losing trades. Apologies if you took that trade with me. Let's pop, since we're not in anything, I want to check a couple other stocks right here, because it does look like some are trying to rip some here. Some that I really do like to play and enjoy playing for the most part. So we don't usually want to take a position on this is an exhaustion candle, a candle like this. I want to see it pull back less than 2/3. I'm not going to jump in right here. I want to see it pull back to this area here before we would take that bullish entry. Simply because more times than not, you're going to get, of course, you get your, 3 white soldiers, this and that, all sorts of things. But in general, I don't like chasing into a massive red candle, a massive green candle like that. Let's watch. Netflix was on a rip yesterday. It ripped about 3.5% yesterday. It's just one to watch. Airbnb is one I've got up because it had earnings, did surprisingly well. I thought it would absolutely fall off during earnings. So what I want to see on Airbnb, let's see if it settles around this zone here and then pushes back up over that high line. And that's where I feel like we get a second push on this specifically. And Airbnb is one I have on my watch list for today because it had earnings. So it's not necessarily going to run with the SPY. It's going to run off its catalyst. We like to have a little bit of different stocks on this, guys. So on Airbnb, I'm looking at the 131. It's at $1.65 right now. And I'm not in it. I will, of course, let you know if I'm in it. Coinbase is ripping. We have swings on these, guys. Protect your profits. Be ready. Be ready to get some profits on those. And the SPY did rip. So that's why we took it out when we did. I still think the SPY can come down. Do not mistake my thoughts here on that. All right. I don't know if you guys see dogs over there. I don't know if my couch shows in the camera. I got my dogs acting a little cuckoo over there. All right, so we're going to pull back to this area. Remember, we're looking at that 131. It's at about $1.60 right now. Because we're in between trades and I want to have a setup for the next trade, we're going to pop off Discord right now. I'm not going to force trades. I'm going to pop on over to Discord to take our trades. We had a 45% and a 12% equity play. We got a little robbed on our SPY play. The profits were there. It was quick though. You have to be an everyday day trader to be able to have gotten those profits. That's the reality of it. Not ideal. I understand that, but we had AMST and Ruby that actually absolutely crushed it. I will see you guys in Discord in 2 minutes. Remember, I've got the contract up for Airbnb. Let me check it before I log on out of here. Okay, let's see if we find a bounce zone here. I'll see you guys over in the Discord. Bye.